Hey everyone, Michael Anthony here. Van Halen, Chickenfoot, Sammy in the Circle. But anyway, you're listening to the only podcast that is dedicated to breaking down the entire Van Halen catalog one track at a time. And the podcast will rock. Ow!
Hello, baby!
What is up, all you rockers, rockettes, and everything in between, all the things, whatever you be? You have joined us for a new edition of And the Podcast Will Rock. Welcome back to the show, everybody. And if it's your first time here, hello. Let me tell you about what we do here. We are the show that dives into the catalog and discography of one of the greatest rock and roll bands of all time, Van Halen. And we do it one track at a time. I am your co-host, Mark Kamire. Joining me, as always, Corey Morissette. Corey, are you feeling fit? Can you bench press about 5,000 pounds yet over there?
Not quite 5, but I think one of our guests tonight can. We had to put him on the show because I think he threatened to find me and kick my ass. So we'll introduce him in a second. But yeah, I just got back from the gym. Had a good workout tonight, freshened my Gatorade Zero, and ready to listen to some Van Halen with some good buddies.
Hell yeah. Nothing beats the aid like a Gatorade. People say that. That's a thing. But as Corey said, we've got a guest. We got a full big panel today. So please give it up. Let's for our special guest. First timers to the show, I'll introduce you. One of our beloved Patreon contributors, and we thank him for that. Michael Griffith is on the show. Michael, how you doing, my dude?
Yeah, thanks, Mark. Thanks, Corey. Happy to be here.
And for those that cannot see, but to the lurkers that are watching in the live stream, if you want to be a lurker, join our Patreon. Michael is repping a very interesting shirt. Could you please show the rest of the panel?
I do, and this is in honor of both you, Corey, and Mark. But it's a Van Halen 3 shirt. If I go like this, it kind of looks like Eddie's standing next to the sign.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
but yeah. So on the back it says, who the fuck is Eddie Van Halen? And big writing, and the story is Gary was doing an interview in '98 and said that to the journalist, and then they just made shirts from it. And this is probably the best part of the whole 3.
I told Michael off air, and I'll say it here. I don't like the album, as the listeners will tell you, but I do love that shirt. So very cool shirt, very good stuff. That is absolutely something we would wear and that we would have in our merch store. So big kudos to that. And thank you for being on the show. Cannot wait to get into this. Joining us on the show for the first time ever, longtime fan, very patient, Connor Burton. Connor, how you doing, my guy?
Well, I feel pretty good. I'm good. So, Mark, thank you so much for having me on the show, and thank you, Corey. I really appreciate it. Corey, I wanted to mention that the last show or the show before, I loved it when you said, "Oh, I was in the gym doing lat pull downs, and then I heard Hot for Teacher. Then I just kicked it up a notch." That was pretty cool.
It happened again tonight. I love the radio station. They put it on in my gym. I'm never leaving that gym.
Wait, with the same song, Hot for Teacher?
Same song, yeah. Different exercise, same song.
Oh, that's naughty.
You got a particular playlist at that gym, but hey, look, if Hot for Teacher's on the playlist, then I'm not mad at it. So, nope. Yeah. Get your reps in. Do what you got. Do what you got to do.
B12.
Yeah, exactly. There you go. Right when you think you're done, Hot for Teacher kicks in. You hear Alex with the drums, and you're just like, okay, no, I'm back in it. It's exactly what you need. So Very cool stuff. Connor, thank you so much for being on the show. Cannot wait to get into this, but rounding it out with all of us is returning guest and Patreon subscriber, Josh Caldwell. Josh, welcome back to the show. How is the guitar playing going?
Oh, it's going good. Just getting ready to do some recording, assembled a couple guitars, and just bought a new guitar cab. So got to have an excuse to go find a new amp to match with it. So I got an EVH 2x12 cab. So
ooh, he's ready to get loud. So
yes.
Yeah, very, very much so. I know I have heard the EVH's power, so I know exactly what you mean. So kudos to you on that. Thank you so much for being on the show once again, man. Always happy to have you. So rounding it all out, there it is. Full panel, you guys. It's going to get, I'm very curious as to what we're going to spin, what the wheel will bequeath us for this evening's show. But before we get into that, Corey, what is going on in the world of Van Halen right now?
Well, I tell you what, you can head on over to the Van Halen news desk, www.vhnd.com. David Lee Roth has a new video. Mark, we're not going to play it here tonight. We're going to spare the guest. The article is entitled "Inside the Colorful Mind of David Lee Roth." He did a new video, made up my mind, which is a Savoy Brown song. He actually covered it on his Diamond Dave album. It's typical Dave Schlock. If you want to go check that out. It's on the Van Halen news desk, but this one I thought was kind of cool. It was posted not that long ago, and it's a little clip from a show called Pawn Stars. Everybody here familiar with the show Pawn Stars?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that show's ridiculous.
It's
It
really
is.
stupid.
Well, and a collector came in with a bunch of Van Halen themed memorabilia, specifically from the Hot for Teacher music video. Bought it at an auction, and it was specifically from the grown up kid who played Eddie Van Halen. He's all grown up now and apparently hurting for money because he was selling off his outfit from the shoot, a bunch of pictures, and the mini Frankenstrat that he used in the video signed by Eddie Van Halen. So this guy went into the pawn shop in Las Vegas looking for $100,000 for this collection of stuff. So I wanted to ask you guys, has anyone here seen that segment on Pawn Stars?
I have not.
Nope.
No, I haven't.
Good. We're going to play a little game. So the guy was looking for $100,000. He brought in an expert, and I'm going to use air quotes there liberally because I don't know if this guy knew what the fuck he was doing. But the entire lot was.
It was me. I confess.
It was some old fucker from Vegas, didn't know shit. But he's, it's the kid's outfit, his costume from the video, a bunch of Polaroids of him and Eddie and stuff on the day shooting the video, and the mini Frankenstrat that is signed by Eddie Van Halen. The guy wanted $100,000 for it. How much do you think the expert said it was all worth? Let's start with Mark. You're the Van Halen expert.
Yeah, I mean, and we get told all the time. The expert, I would imagine, probably like way overshot it. So I'm gonna say the expert probably said it's worth $500,000.
Oh, you think he overshot it?
Yeah.
So okay, so you're $500,000, $500,000.
I mean,
you think
the expert that he brought with him, right? That said, or was it a guy like working in the pawn shop?
Yeah, this is the pawn shop expert. They call him in
my
from
bad.
wherever his
Okay,
shop.
I'm sorry. Yeah. They probably said it was worth like I'll go ahead. I'll say $10,000.
$10,000. Okay.
Yeah.
Michael, how much do you think the expert said it was worth?
So this wasn't Eddie's personal guitar, right? This was just one he signed for a fan.
Yeah, it was the mini Frankenstrat the kid mimed to playing in the video. It doesn't even play. It's just not even a real guitar.
I'm gonna say $25,000.
$25,000. All right, Connor.
Oh, I think it's probably $2,000. I think you've probably shot it down a lot.
All right,
That's
$2,000 from
right.
Connor. And Josh, what do you think?
Bowl of M&Ms with the brown ones removed.
Nice.
I understood that
Throwback.
reference.
Yeah, so about
I got the one.
$3.
Yeah.
Well, everybody was under, so nobody went over. The correct answer was 30,000 is what the expert valued it at.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, and
So,
the pawn
oh,
shop guy
close.
didn't even
That's
make.
close.
Yeah, he didn't even make an offer on it. He said for $30,000, I'm not making an offer. But you got to think like, yeah, it's not Eddie's guitar. It's not even anything Eddie wore or anything. It was the kid in the video. So
Yeah.
I know all the Van Halen fans in the comments are bitching and moaning, thinking it was worth like $10 million because Eddie signed it and all. But to me, $30,000 sounded actually not too off the mark because it's just this kid, Dominic, whatever, who starred as young Eddie in the video.
The fact that he took it to those things to a pawn shop in the first place, and assumed he would go get like close to, if not exactly 100,000, is a bold assumption of him. And I'm actually kind of shocked they didn't just offer him a number and instead it's like, no, we're not even going to play that game real quick. So sorry, kid. Sorry about your luck, man. That's but if nothing else, at least that you have this in your personal collection, you can say with dignity, hey, I did this thing and I got this stuff, just be proud of it. I mean, even if you're strapped for cash, just,
Right.
come on, Just be
You know
proud
what?
of it, because you're not gonna get, if you're gonna take it to other pawn shops, you're not gonna get what you want out of it.
I ended up getting a couple of signed Eddie Van Halen pieces not that long ago. This stupid virtual
yeah?
background. Let's see if I can turn that off so I can show you guys.
Yeah, you disappeared for a second there on Corey's screen. The listeners can't see this, but there you
So
go.
I got this band shot. Only Eddie signed it. So if I ever meet Alex, Michael, or Sammy, there's room for them to sign that one. And I got this one too, signed Eddie Van Halen piece not
Nice.
that long ago. So
Michael Anthony just had his birthday a couple days ago.
that's true. Yeah.
How old is Michael now?
I know he's older than, I believe he's older than Dave from what I remember in Van Halen Rising, which I have right here.
Older than Dave. I would not have guessed that.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Did you know his last name is actually not Anthony? It's like
I didn't
Chebolaski
know
or
that. Yeah,
yeah,
Mr. Chicago.
right.
I did know that Anthony was not his last name. I did not know what his actual last name was, but yeah, I did know that.
I'm sure Ted
you know.
Tippelman said you got to change that name.
It's not
Right.
very rock star, your real name.
Yeah.
Change it. Just use your middle name or something. Like, okay.
By the way, he celebrated his 70th birthday on June 20th.
Whoa.
70.
So yesterday, as we tape this.
Well, good for you, Michael Anthony, man. We're big fans. We love what you do, and may I say, you look great for 70. So keep it up, whatever you're doing. So
Absolutely.
all right on. Well, I know that the Rothians, as I'm gonna start calling them, the pro Roths and nothing else, are going to be very upset that we didn't go over that video. But look, Corey's doing us all a favor, and that's that. So, all right, cool, man. All right, moving on. Let's go to the rock and poll, shall we?
All right.
Last week we voted on the track Secrets from Diver Down. And this I wasn't sure how this one was going to play out. I know that we all voted it upwards. I was very close to saying maybe not, but thankfully reason triumphed. And instead, I voted yay, and the consensus was it was all a yay, but only an 85.2% voted What Dreams Are Made Of, whilst a 14.8% voted This Dream Is Over. Corey, are you surprised by this number?
Not really. If you look at our last 5 tracks, all but one were in the just in that mid 80 range. Hear About It Later, Pound Cake, Live, Girl Gone Bad, and Secrets. The only one that was sub 80 was Eagles Fly from Live Right Here, Right Now, 69%. So not really shocked at that. That's kind of where I thought this one would wind up.
I wondered if the fact that it's a Diver Down song had any influence on that, because a lot of, based on what we've been hearing in the tenure of the show, is that people aren't keen on Diver Down. I am. The more we keep doing this, we dive into the show and the discography, the more I realize, wait, actually, I really dig this album. I have not downvoted it, not one track yet. And the gems that I wasn't familiar with very much beforehand, now I'm very keen on. Like, this Diver Down will probably get a multiple rotation once the show is over. But yeah, I'm kind of I'm thinking maybe that had something to do with it. I don't know.
I mean, Diver Down's the perfect summer album. Today's the first day of summer, and I haven't played it earlier. And what's shocking to me is, I mean, I like little guitars, but how it's so much higher than Secrets, like substantially higher.
98% on little guitars, yeah.
Yeah, and Secrets is just such a smooth. It's obscure though. I think fans are like, this is Van Halen. If it's a mainstream fan and they don't really understand it's actually Van Halen, how diverse they are, but it's just a cool breezy song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would assume, Michael, you gave this one a thumbs up.
I did. Wait, this song actually is in my top 5 favorites.
There you
Diver
go.
Down, I Love Secrets.
Nice.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So well, looking at the tweets under the poll here, I'll just ask, I don't see you on there, but Connor, do you have any thoughts on the track Secrets?
I think Secrets is a great song. I mean, it's definitely one of my favorite songs from the Diver Down album. I just looked at the website today at the podcastwillrock.com, and I was like, wait, 85%, that's it? So I would have thought it would have got at least 92%. So, I mean, come on, guys. Like, that's a pretty good song. It's pretty smooth. It definitely has that kind of Southwestern vibe to it. So I give it a thumbs up for sure.
Well, again, I think having it be a track from Diver Down might have influenced the voting in this one. And as you can see, Corey has brought up the rankings right now and where the poll results went on what we've covered on Diver Down. And yeah, not a lot of super high numbers. A lot of them, I mean, obviously very positive in the results, but not super high. Secrets is actually it's the fourth highest one so far that I see. Yeah, I don't know what it is. I don't know. Josh, how about you? How you feel about Secrets?
Oh, it's one of my favorite songs. It definitely has. Everyone's has a different approach to it. I mean, every player on the track, and Ed Solo has remnants of Alan Holdsworth's influence in there. You know, a smooth legato approach to it, and
oh yeah,
and the rhythm section sounds amazing on it, as well as all the elements are there. It's just in a slightly different way.
Mm-hmm.
So
very much in the Van Halen wheelhouse, as it were.
Solo, that guitar solo was amazing. Would you agree, Mark?
I absolutely agree with that.
Okay,
I wouldn't say the solo saved the song for me because it was already saved at that point because of my perspective. This point was like, okay, yeah, I think I'm giving this the thumbs up. The solo just happened to be like, well, of course you're gonna upvote this one. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
I think it's interesting that right now, Diver Down is our lowest rated Dave album. And when you look at the averages, 82.5% for Diver Down,
Yeah.
whereas when you go to the other ones, Van Halen 1's currently sitting at 91%, Van Halen 2, 88%, Women and Children's 88%, Fair Warning 90%, and 1984 91%. And if you go all the way to A Different Kind of Truth, it's currently the lowest, actually, at 75% for. So out of the original 6, it's Diver Down.
Yeah.
But if you include A Different Kind of Truth, it's way low right now at 75%.
Those two albums, so Diver Down gets, in my opinion, unfair hate over the covers. The Different Kind of
Agreed.
Truth
I
gets
know.
unfair hate over the demos. I mean, they're their own demos. So who cares if you do a riff
Exactly.
40 years ago
Exactly.
and then you do your own riff, 4 years from now? What's the difference?
Doesn't
And
matter.
both those
Yeah,
albums have a lot in common in that they get unfair hate.
Agreed, especially Diver Down. Like as I said, the more we spin a song from that album and listen to it and analyze it, it's like, yeah, no, this album slaps, as the kids say. Who cares if they're covers? They're good covers. So, but let's hear what everybody's saying in there. We got the opinions on our panel here, going to the Twitter feed. And hey, if you want your tweet guaranteed read on air, join our Patreon. You can do that, just like the people I'm about to read from you right now, including from the Sean Geek and Fast Fret podcast. That's our buddy Sean. Says the opening with Cathedral alone would be a thumbs up for me. This is one of those Fast Fret staples. The Eddie tricks he just had to learn how to play. The Eddie tricks. Yeah, I imagine Todd did have to figure that one out. But and he says, and when he figured it out and played it, for me, it's very personal. It's a shining Van Halen moment Freddie showed me. Secrets got voted very high on our Diver Down episode. He's promoting his own show. That's cool. With Eric Sinich from the Van Halen news desk. This, along with Push Comes to Shove, really showed that the other side of Van Halen is so freaking talented, so diverse, and so capable. What Van Halen's so great, or what makes Van Halen so great, is that they could do this stuff too. Yeah, wise words, and I do not disagree with you whatsoever, Sean. Thank you. Our buddy
I think
Ryan,
Sean had it ranked like 2nd or 3rd actually on his listing, so he was very high.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Oh yeah, very much so. He, I think he actually, if you want to go to his Twitter, I think he talks more about it. So do that. He's got insight for days. Our buddy Ryan Powell says, such a light, breezy, and satisfying gem of a song on the relatively unheralded gem of an album. Hashtag what dreams are made of. It is a gem of an album, Ryan. I agree with you. Absolutely. So going down here, finding some other ones from our patrons. Jeff Brewer says, this is a really good song and great solo, kind of the push comes to shove of Diver Down. It's not a song I listen to often, but it's great, and I love the solo. Another push comes to shove comparison there. Would you say you think that's fair? Is that a fair comparison?
No, I think that's a very fair comparison because it's something a little different, right? It's not especially Push Comes to Shove is such a different track on that album, and the Secrets kind of fits the same mold. I thought that was very apropos. Our patrons are so smart.
They're so smart. They're smarter than us. They're the experts, not us. So go follow our patrons.
But Secrets is way better than Push when Push comes to shove, in my opinion.
I do like it a little better myself too. I like Push Comes to Shove, but I would put Secrets. Yeah.
Well, there you go. Hot take. Chaz Mataz says, are you kidding me with these poll results? The hardest rocking Hallmark card ever written. Yes. AVH, hell, everyone slinks and slides on this one. It's one of their most melodic and creative songs and so fun to play. Downvotes can bite me where the wind blows. Very colorful dialogue there with Chaz Mataz, as we knew it would be, because that's just how he rolls, and we appreciate how he rolls. There you go. Thank you, Chaz. Scott Monroe says, it's no secret that my appreciation continues to grow for Diver Down thanks to your show. Hell yeah, me too. This unique track is definitely what dreams are made of. David's raspy voice perfectly fits the steady tempo. It's a breezy groove with a surprisingly restrained yet beautiful Eddie Van Halen solo. In terms of track order, I like the relaxed mood of Cathedral and Secrets juxtaposed with the brooding weirdness that follows with Intruder. Diver Down really works as a short but satisfyingly diverse experiment from start to finish. Scott's always got some good. That wasn't even a manifesto. That was just him laying it all out right there. And I like the fact that everyone is using the word breezy for that particular track. And I'm kind of mad at myself for not thinking of breezy, because everyone seems to agree is like, yeah, it's breezy. Like, shit, why didn't I think of breezy of all the adjectives? But yeah.
And you know that wasn't a manifesto, but it was a mini-festo.
Minifesto, there you go. Scott Minifesto Monroe, there you are. So and finally, Greg Zito says, love this unusual track that showcases a different side of the band. Van Halen will take you across the musical landscape. Don't I know it? So there you go. There's some tweets letting us know how the poll results went. Didn't hear from any of the naysayers, but hey, what are you going to do, right? We like to keep it positive, but when people downvote a song, I like to hear why. I feel like Corey and I, when we give our reasons as to why we don't like a particular track, that we're thorough in our analysis. But hey, sometimes you're just like, nah, not for me. And that's fine. So thank you guys so much for your tweets. Again, if you want your tweet guaranteed read on the show, because we had quite a few, join our Patreon, man. We got a tier for you. And if we don't, let us know. We'll make it for you. There is no limit. It's the Corey Morissette presents the Deep Dive Podcasting Network. So, Corey can make it happen. He's got lots of podcasting longevity. Wouldn't you say, Corey?
Oh, yes. Everyone's part of the CMPU, the Corey Morissette podcast universe. The ever expanding.
Yep. Hashtag it's all connected. So there you go. All right. Well, then, I think it's time to go up to our next favorite thing. Not our favorite thing. The favorite thing is to spin the wheel, but the next favorite is, say it with me, manifestations. Yes, we're going to manifest what song we want to spin tonight. I'm going to start. We have a Discord for our Patreons, and in our manifestations channel, Ryan Powell says, as is. Could use some crazy tempo / style changes tonight. He wants to hear as is. And yeah. Jeff Brewer says, best track on A Different Kind of Truth, originally titled Two Burritos and Root Beer Float during Ed's cameo on 2.5 Men. He's responding basically to as is. So we've got Bottoms Up from Scott Monroe. We've got a yes from Bottoms Up from Jeff Brewer again. And let's see. Scott Monroe always likes to throw in Pleasure Dome just for funsies because he knows Corey doesn't want to talk about it.
So, I like Pleasure Dome. It'll be fun. You're thinking of Spanked.
I have heard you I have heard you talk about you are not crazy on Pleasure Dome, so your reverse psychology will not work here, sir.
Well, let's spin it
nice
tonight,
try.
and we'll see. We'll see.
She's gonna have a sudden change of heart. It's like, yeah, Pleasure Dome's actually it's all right. So, all right, there you go. There's thank you to our Discord people. So I'm gonna throw it over to Josh. Josh, you've been on the show several times now, but what particular song do you want to manifest tonight?
Good enough.
Good enough.
Good enough.
Nice.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Enough said. There you are. Connor, first
track?
timer on the show. What track is it that you want to hear tonight?
Well, can I manifest a track from both eras?
Mm-hmm.
It's the cheap way out, but we've allowed it in the past. So go
We've
ahead.
allowed it. It's fine. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's his first time. He's allowed. Go ahead.
You are much
I'm a cheap-
bigger than us.
Corey, I might not beat you up now. Well, in honor of my girlfriend when she was sick, I'm gonna choose Black and Blue.
Nice.
It's very fitting.
Black and Blue. Yeah. All right.
That's a great Sammy Era song. So I'm kind of tipping my hand on that one. Black and Blue.
Oh, that's
Also,
fun.
one of my favorite workout songs is Black and Blue, and also Romeo Delight, which we already manifested previously. But Black and Blue, and then for the Dave era, let's go. So This Is Love.
All right.
So this
Alrighty.
is love. Yeah. Right on. Would not be mad at either one of those, or good enough at really. So fun stuff. So Michael, first time to the show. What do you want to manifest for tonight's show?
So this is difficult, but I actually tracked a copy of the film The Wildlife, and I was watching it about a week ago. And I want Blood and Fire from A Different Kind of Truth, which was called Ripley in that film. And the film kind of opens with it, with the music from it.
Mhm.
And that, in my opinion, should have been the first single of A Different Kind of Truth too, because, look at all the people here tonight from the US Festival, Dave says in the song and things like that. So I am manifesting that one.
Some people bleed and some people want to watch the whole world burn, and that's why he wants Blood and Fire. So there you go. Yeah, from A Different Kind of Truth. All right, but Corey, what is it? I'm gonna predict that you're gonna call your shot tonight because you've done it 3 times. So why not a fourth? What song are you going to call tonight?
Well, initially, I was thinking along with Connor, my good friend there, I was going to manifest Black and Blue. But I'm thinking, we got an all-star panel here tonight. We got 3 great guests on the call here. We need an all-star song. We need a little humans being, I think. So that's what I'm
Ooh.
manifesting here tonight.
Well, my thoughts on that. So yeah,
Mister.
good call. But I too I'm not going to manifest humans being, although I have in the past many times, and we all know I'm kind of aching for it, but I'm not going to manifest it tonight. Instead, I am going to manifest another Sammy song. Shocker. Top of the World. Man, I just like we don't hear enough from the Fuck album here lately, and chances are by the time Corey and I reach the end of this tenure, that's all we're going to be talking about is songs from For Unlawful. But Top of the World would just be just a delight, We've got a delightful panel. That song's a delight, and it would be real nice to talk about it, I think. Or maybe not. Maybe it doesn't land so well with some other people, and that would bring up some interesting conversations. So I am going to manifest with all my might Top of the World. So there you go. Got a kind of an eclectic mix of different sort of Sammy Dave era tunes. So that being said, I think there is nothing left to do but to spin that wheel. Corey, have you primed the wheel?
You know what? I'm going to give it a quick shuffle here. There's 3 guests. Let's shuffle it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
Here we go.
We're going all the way to Van Halen 2. You're no good.
Let's go.
Woo-hoo. Look, I have said how much I adore Van Halen 2, so not angry about this. But this is going to be a good one. Does anyone have anything they want to say before we get into it without tipping your hand? Any sort of anecdotes or special memories or anything they have related to this song in particular? And if not, that's cool too. Just wondering.
I remember seeing a bodybuilder, because I'm a competitive bodybuilder. A pro came out
No
to
joke.
the intro of the song. Yeah, no joke, right? He came out to the intro on stage to "You're No Good," which is a great intro. It's very slow, kind of melancholy, like boom, boom. So it's a really cool intro. I will say, I think it's not the right song to open Van Halen 2. I would rather have a song that's a little more faster paced, like "Light Up the Sky," but it's a great song.
Oh yeah. Well, that is a fair assessment. I'm not going to fight you on it. So yeah, cool stuff. All right. But I just recently watched the Arnold documentary on Netflix, and there's this
That was
whole
good.
section. Yeah, whole section of his bodybuilding days, and I didn't realize how many times the guy won Mr. Universe. Like he was just like, he basically just had to show up and he won for a long time. I'm like, Jesus Christ. But then again, you look at what his physique was, and you're like, well, are you gonna argue? Or like, who's gonna argue with that? So
He's
now
a great god.
yeah, and that's what he wanted to be too. Yeah. So
I thought, wasn't this a Linda Ronstadt song? And then Van
It
Halen.
was.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was her first #1 hit, actually.
yeah.
that's amazing.
Who would think?
Linda Ronstadt, good stuff. Little different. If you listen to her, if you listen to her and you have Van Halen on the brain, you're gonna be confused. But nevertheless, good stuff to listen to. And this song is a very good cover to do. So yeah, if you're ready, if everybody's ready, Corey, I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right, let's go all the way back to 1979. And the first track off of Van Halen 2, this is "You're No Good."
I know I'm assuming he got credit for it, but I don't know. I just really love Mikey starting off a song. Even if it's just kind of this slow sort of build up. It's cool. It's like, here's my moment to shine. I'm just gonna kick this off the right way. Good stuff. Just a quick shout out.
They don't let him do that very often. So
No, and
Not
we
very
come to
much.
find out. Yeah, we come to find out later, in like later albums that he didn't even play on the album. It's just like, that's a shame.
But to
Yeah, speaking-
Connor's point, is this the right way to kick off Van Halen 2?
I can see why with this sort of intro as to why they might have made it the intro song. Is it the right thing to kick off? I don't know. I'll have to give that a real good think. I hadn't thought about it before, actually.
Think about "Run Up with the Devil." That's a slow intro as well. And that worked. That album kicked ass.
Oh, I know. So I don't know. Maybe after the analysis of the song, I'll have a decision on that. But I'm gonna think on it.
Good. For me, it always it's not so much even what kicks it off, but what's the next song? Like, what is this bridge into? And it goes right into Dance the Night Away. So I think it's a pretty good opener just for that. Kind of like the same thing with Van Halen 1, like we were talking there. So
yeah.
Well, I'm feeling better now that we're through. Feeling better, baby. I'm over you. I learned my lesson, baby, and it left a scar. But now I see how you really are. No good, baby, you're no good.
I just got to point out this, maybe other than the Beach Boys, does any band have the harmonies that Van Halen has? I mean, Mikey and Ed in those harmonies, song after song, especially in the Dave era, both eras. It's just, it's another level. It's just fantastic.
I agree. And when you said that, I'm like, what's another band maybe? And you think of a band like Queen, but they overdubbed so many of their harmonies.
Maybe the Beatles. I don't know.
Beatles had good harmonies,
I would say Alice in Chains, perhaps.
Yeah.
That's a good pull. Yeah.
King's X.
Because King's X. But just, I mean, obviously Alice in Chains, a different sort of spectrum of rock. So their harmony is a little different, but Lane and Jerry were super tight with those harmonies all the time. And there was if there was any doubling, you wouldn't have known it because they did that shit live and did it superbly. So that's the only comparison I can maybe think of. But yeah, King's X is good. I would have said Queen until Corey said the doubling. Like, well, shit. Okay.
But also I would have mentioned that Alice in Chains actually opened for Van Halen in the Fuck Tour.
Yeah.
They did. Yes, they absolutely did.
Just want to go to the lurker chat here. Jeff Brewer says You're No Good is his least favorite track from Van Halen 2. Not a great opener for the album, in his opinion.
Wow. Okay. So
now I don't sell gas.
Going. We know where one downvote's going. So.
That may not be a downvote though, Jeff. I don't know if Jeff has downvoted anything. Yeah.
And me neither. I think does anybody else notice that the drums are a little more upfront in this album compared to Van Halen 1?
The drums per se?
Yeah.
I could
probably.
It's been a while since we
maybe.
spun a Van Halen 1 track, yeah.
It doesn't
It
seem to
has,
be
yeah.
wash and reverb. Seems a little more upfront in the mix. The guitars included and everything. Like an overall, like there's less ambient echo going on.
That is probably a good quandary for like Eric Sinich or somebody who would know what Ted Templeman would have done or would have said about it. So I don't know, but that's a good thing. I'm gonna have to like really pay attention to those two albums now.
Well, and this song was a Ted Templeman suggestion. It was his idea for Van Halen to record it.
Ah, well, there you go.
Big Linda Ronstadt fan, apparently. I love it when they put a little stack on that You're No Good.
Mm-hmm.
That's so nice.
Draw, a bluesy draw. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Alex's groove sounds good.
Oh, yeah. Great swing drummer. He doesn't get enough credit, I think, for being a good just swing drummer.
They recently had some new high res version of this that came out on the news desk from Fresno, N79. I don't know if you guys saw this, but it's only like half an hour, but they go through Van Halen 2 and it's phenomenal.
It really is. And we should mention too, Alex Van Halen reactivated his Instagram account. Just posted a picture of his kit.
What?
But it's got fans kind of going, well, he's back on social media. He's posted a picture of his kit. Maybe there's something happening.
Oh, did you guys hear that he has possession of that YouTube Van Halen series?
That's right. Yeah. The last update was Alex is checking it out, and hopefully he okays it because the first two episodes are great.
Well, yeah. Now that makes me wonder if like he might okay it, but like how much is he gonna okay? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If it gets a little too truthful.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, unless he's the type of guy who's just like, look, whatever, it happened. So just there you go.
Well, let's not draw any attention to ourselves or they'll come after us next.
Apologies to Alex.
Apologies to Alex.
New merch.
I broke a heart, symbol true. Broke a heart for someone like you. When you're coming back, don't come running to me. I wanna run and set you free. You're no good, baby, you're no good. Oh.
So Eddie, in an interview, said that it doesn't sound like the original. He's never actually heard the original version of this. And Linda Ronstadt wasn't the original either. It was a much older tune. I think it was actually credited incorrectly on the cassette back when this
Oh.
album came out. They actually had the wrong songwriters on there, but this was originally recorded in 1963.
Wow.
that bass intro-
So
Sorry, go
Linda
ahead,
didn't get to. Oh, I'm sorry. It was like so. Oh God, who? Clint
It was a
Ballard
cover of a
Jr.
cover,
is the,
is basically
is the
what you're saying.
songwriter. But I don't know if he performed it originally. That's interesting. I'd like to find out more about that.
It was originally recorded by Betty Everett in
Aha,
1963.
Gotcha. Well, there you
And
go.
then in
Hey, Mark.
74, Andrew,
Hey, Mark, you're a vocalist and a musician. So
I try.
when Dave's like, right, when Dave's like at the end of the lyrics, when he's like hitting that broken falsetto, is that a broken falsetto or is he doing some kind of a whistle scream? Like, how would you describe that musically?
Like that real high note he's hitting.
Yeah.
It's essentially just a howl. At least that's what it sound. That's what it sounds. He's just literally just, but like super high because he was
Yeah.
super high. Cocaine's
coke.
bad, kids, but don't do it. But
Cocaine's a
for
hell of a
David Lee-
drug.
yeah, it's a hell of a drug. But for David Lee Roth, it did wonders for him vocally. So, like I'm not. I mean, allegedly. Let me put that out. Allegedly, so because I have no proof. I was not there. But yeah, no, that's just he had, as we know, because he would utilize it. Those howls were infamous for David Lee Roth.
Mhm.
He just had a good falsetto, good high voice, and he's just howling basically. That's what that is.
Also, he had a good high voice, so I always thought of him as having a low register, but that's probably when he's singing, and then he has his accent at the end of his lyrics when he howls and hits the high voice.
He actually Dave, or at least he had like this sort of register that's right here in the middle. He certainly
Yeah.
tried to sing in a lower register those times where he's like, it sounds like it was like, bro, that's not your vocal style. You just sound like you're vocal frying all over the place. Just stop it. But I mean, I get why he would do that. Just a little variation. He's very blues driven. That's kind of like a bluesy sound. So cool. I get it. It definitely, but and maybe he did it as a juxtaposition from those howling, those high notes that he would throw out all the time. But I don't know. But yeah. He had I would say he had in this era of Van Halen more of like a middle to higher register than certainly not higher than Sammy's. I'm not implying, but it was sort of like right there. But then, of course, the older he gets, the lower it gets, because that happens to us all. Age is a cruel mistress.
Yeah, it's really cool how he hits those high notes like that.
Mm-hmm.
and nowadays I don't know what the fuck he's hitting, but it's not notes.
He's
Not the high
trying
notes.
to. It's not. Yeah, he's not hitting the high notes. Whatever he is hitting, it's not those. But but I like those howlings that he's doing in the song because it
Yeah.
kind of gives the song more of a Van Halen flair to it. I mean, it already has it because, as you pointed out, it doesn't sound like the original song at all, which is good because you want to if you're going to cover a song, especially a song that's pretty damn famous, even at that point, you want to make it your own a certain way. And
They did
I
a
think,
great job at that. I mean, like
Yeah.
every cover they've done is completely different from the original, or this is a cover of a cover, but I don't think any other band has done covers better than this band.
it's hard to argue. It really is.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a good job. There's a great quote from Ted Templeman. He asked the band how they felt about doing another cover song, and they all said, if the song is right and it fits our style and we can arrange it to fit our style, then we'll do it. They didn't think twice about it.
So wait, you said that Eddie hadn't heard the original?
Yeah, no, I imagine he heard the Linda Ronstadt, but not the Betty Everett version.
Oh, okay. Because
Yeah.
I was about to say for a second there, I was like, wait, if he hadn't heard it, how did he do this? So
Well,
okay,
they
that clears that up.
They used to do it at Gazzari's too, before they ever made it big. So
Because I had this vision of them just like reading like the sheet music. I was like, here it is, when they did that, and it's like, all right, sure, whatever. It's like, and they came up with this, and like, well, that's just fucking brilliant. But
no, I
alas,
think they're doing the Linda Ronstadt version and just putting some stank on it.
Lots of stink.
Because Linda Ronstadt is pretty stankless.
Agreed.
Too clean. The opposite of Dave.
I gotta say, I think Van Halen 2, maybe my favorite like sounding Van Halen record. It is produced so well. And like we
Mhm.
mentioned, like everybody's out front, like nobody's overpowering anybody. A lot of times, especially in the solo, it's Eddie, obviously, and then it's Alex kind of overpowering everything else. But you get the bass nice and clear. Like everything is just separated so well in this record. It sounds great.
That's
I think,
really
Connor, you mentioned Alex being in front. I mean,
Yeah.
outside of what Bonham, maybe Perk, you can identify Alex's drum sound. Like you can hear that unique sound that he has. And there's only a couple other drummers in history that have that. That's such a
Absolutely.
unique thing that no one
Very
gives
It's
him
a
credit.
snare.
You know?
Yeah, his snare sound is legendary. Like people
Yeah.
are always trying to replicate that snare sound. And
Mm-hmm.
doing this show, the way he works the cymbals too is pretty unique to Alex Van Halen.
Yeah.
Love his cymbal work.
Very much so. Josh, I'm going to ask you, man. How do you feel about what Eddie's doing in that solo?
It's, I mean, every solo he does has his, his unique phrasing, and it fits perfectly. This is an interesting one because this isn't a high tempo. It's kind of like it comes in a very, almost in a subdued way, and then towards the end, he's chopping heads off.
I'm trying to figure out what he's doing there at the beginning with that like a little it almost sounds like he's palm muting, and he's
sliding his the side of his hand across the strings and getting harmonics.
Okay.
Wow.
So, well, that's just the brilliance of Eddie Van Halen. And I mean, a lot of great guitar players, they can make sounds that you can't figure out, and then you see them doing it, like, oh, such a simple trick, simplicity, but it just the way that the sonically, just the way it comes out is just extraordinary. Like I've been playing guitar for years, and I couldn't figure out what that was he was doing there at the beginning. So thank you, Josh, for having the better ear.
Well, no, it was visual. I saw Live Without a Net during his guitar
Also
play,
that.
and he's doing that. He's doing that sliding up and down. I was like, oh, okay, that's how he does it.
Oh, well, fair enough. Yeah, but still, either way, sounds cool. It's awesome. It gives it a little, makes the solo, I think, stand out a little more because he does, as you say, Eddie has incredible phrasing with his solos. Even the solos that are just kind of okay, like the solos that are kind of just out there, like, okay, this doesn't serve the song. This is just him being a grand virtuoso, what have you. But this one, it fits, but it also it's different. It's a little bit different than what we're used to hearing, especially this is Van Halen too. So he's really like kind of pushing the envelope as far as showing people what he can do when given like the solo opportunity. It's cool stuff.
I'm glad you guys are on the show because you guys are the guitars, and I don't know what the fuck is happening on guitar. But I'm just a meathead.
Yeah.
I call it spider tapping because when I hear, I'm thinking about like when he's going. I think about spider tapping.
It's the finger tap on the fret tapping. Yeah, hey, spider tap, call it whatever you want. Yeah, that's as long as you recognize that what he's doing is very cool, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked about that move because I was sitting here listening, thinking it almost sounds like an idiot with a guitar like me trying to do a pick slide and fucking it up. Yeah.
Well, that's why
Except
I wanted to confirm. I was like, what is he doing there?
Like if I try to pick slide, I would make that sound accidentally and it would sound terrible. But Eddie Van Halen could just do it masterfully.
If I could add something real quick. The one thing is like if you ever go on specifically Guitar Geek forums, and they really try to break down Eddie's tone, and you'll see like threads upon threads of people discussing, what equipment was used and his approach and stuff. But if you actually played through Ed's rig, the way he set it up, I would say 90% of those guitar players would walk away from it because it doesn't hide anything. It's really clean, it's unforgiving. And it's kind of like what they're trying to do is get a mastered sound, and what Ed is doing is he's basically reeling in a wild horse, and he's making it conform to these standards here. It's I've played through something similar to what he's done, and it's it shows your flaws right away.
Oh yeah.
I mean, immediately.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
You're sleeping now, baby. Now you go on and do what you want to.
Oh no, that's how you end a song.
Yeah.
Not the arena rock ending, not the quick cut out, just a simple, this is the end. There you go, right off into the sunset. Good stuff there. And I can't even comment on David Lee Roth's lyrics on this song because they're not his lyrics. And I would not dare besmirch this songwriter because this is a classic song. So whether you like Linda's version of it, Van Halen's version, or like the very, very original, it doesn't matter. There you have it. You're No Good. Now, I know a lot of our fans, or just a lot of Van Halen fans in general, just do not dig Van Halen covers for whatever reason, but I don't know. It just, you know what? Let's go ahead and get it out of the way right now. All right, let's go to the voting. It's time. All right. Not a Van Halen original, but a cover. So I'm going to throw it to our newbies first. All right. I'm going to throw it to you, Michael Griffith. Once again, thank you so much for being on the show. We didn't spin what you manifested, but we spun an early Van Halen track. Some would say best Van Halen, but I'll leave that to you. But would you say their rendition of You're No Good is what dreams are made of, or is the dream over?
So Mikey opening it is fantastic. And I don't know if it was you, Connor, again, that said that the slow intros to songs. I mean, they did do that. I was thinking back of the Six Pack, and I think every album kind of starts slow. Where Have All the Good Times Gone does, 1984 does, this does. Even Mean Street kind of starts slow and builds up to something. So that's great. The outro, I mean, this band's incredible with their outros. That just is smokes. And Dave's delivers it's just raw. That's the only word I can think of is how he delivers these lyrics. He didn't write it, but it's just raw. And then you just think of like this club, smoky, sweaty, dirty club that these guys are performing in back in the day. And that's You're No Good. So it's great. Yeah, what dreams are made of. It's awesome.
There you go. One vote upwards. Well said to you, Michael. Thank you. All right. Our other newbie, Connor Burton. All right, man. Again, like not exactly what you manifested, but still, early Van Halen, people seem to dig it. Don't know if you dug it. So I ask you, is You're No Good what dreams are made of, or is the dream over?
Well, this song is cool because the intro, again, another one of my meathead descriptions. It sounds like the bass is kind of like this whale sound. It's really cool. So it's pretty trippy. And I think about Eddie's guitar when he hits those notes, like pow pow. And then when Dave, towards the end of the song, there's a kind of like a call and response to those notes, and he goes ow ow, in response to Eddie's like basically those guitar notes. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
So good song. I think it's Van Halen 2 is a pretty solid album. So for me, it's not my number one song, but I would say it's probably my fourth favorite song on the album.
Oh, well, that's good. Top 5. You know, you can't ask for too much more than that, except for a top 3. But that's fine. Top 5. We'll give it
Right?
to you. That's all good. There you go. So 2 up votes so far. Josh, my dude, returning. Lot of guitar work happening in this song, despite the fact that it's probably not traditionally a guitar-y type of track. So I ask you, is their rendition of "You're No Good" what dreams are made of, or is the dream over for you?
Real quick, can we give a hats off to Don Landy for engineering this track? And,
Hell yeah.
I mean,
Oh, yeah.
every instrument you can hear, the cymbal work at the end, was perfectly captured. And the interesting thing, the interplay between Dave and Ed's guitar fills, they weren't stepping on each other. Between the howls and the some of the harmonic squeals and things like that. So it's a really well done song.
Nicely said, nicely put. There you go. All right. That's 3 out of 5 so far. Corey Morissette, it's time for you to throw down the throw the stone in the pond and make the ripples and just cause utter chaos with your downvoting. I'm just assuming because it turns out I am not the contrarian. Corey is the contrarian. I'm making that a thing now. So I ask you, is "You're No Good" by Van Halen what dreams are made of, or could you just leave it?
You know what? I got to echo something Jim Brewer said. This is probably my least favorite song on Van Halen 2, so I'm forced to vote. I love everything about this song. When I say it's my least favorite, I'm giving it like an 8.5 out of 10 instead of a 9 or a 9.5. Like, this is probably my favorite Van Halen album, Van Halen 2, all the way through. Spanish Flies, the instrumental is amazing. Covers are amazing. The originals, DOA, Somebody Get Me a Doctor, some of my favorite all-time David Lee Roth tunes. It's mixed so fucking good. Ted Templeman and Don Landy just knock it out of the park. The bass intro, you think, when you don't hear the song, when you're just kind of thinking on it, you're like, oh, that's not a great way to start an album. But that was actually supposed to be a bass solo at one point. And it was Eddie said, that actually sounds more like an intro. We should use it as an intro. And, you think maybe it's not a great intro. It's a perfect fucking intro. And then Eddie's intro into the song came from another song. I want to say like Down in Flames or something like that. Maybe I'm thinking of AC/DC, but he had that kind of guitar intro in for a different tune. And he just incorporated it into "You're No Good." And it works so well. The guitar solo is amazing. Alex is killing it. The production is top notch. That ending, man. And the fact that we go from that ending right into Somebody Get Me a Doctor, chef's kiss. It doesn't get any better than that. So when you're talking about sequencing and sequencing matters, this song is a great way to kick off Van Halen 2. And it's absolutely what dreams are made of. Mark Kmeyer, it's your turn. Yeah. Oh God. We never know how you're going to vote. Are you going to go with the majority here tonight, or is the dream over for you?
I never vote for the majority just because it's the majority. So with that being said, that being said, I lied. Only because I love this song. I love Linda's version. I love Van Halen's version of this song. Like, I legitimately really love this song. And I love this album. I've talked about that before. Like, this album's great. Now, I did give it some thought, and I think I am in agreement with you, Corey. I think this does work for me as the intro track. Because I was looking at the tracks and I was really thinking about it. I was like, well, I don't know which one you really use to kick it off. I mean, there's definitely some contenders, but for me, just as you said, Corey, the way it transitions into Dance the Night Away, Somebody Get Me a Doctor, like, actually, I think it's placed where it needs to be, at least for my listening ears. Everything works in this. Even if you don't like covers, pretend this song isn't a cover, It's just a good Van Halen groove. How about that? It's far enough away from Linda Ronstadt's version to be their own thing. Like they literally made it their own thing. That's what Van Halen does when they do covers. So I really don't understand why people are so down about their cover songs. But nevertheless, yeah, everything works. That solo, it not only does it fit the song, it's different. It's a little bit weird at the beginning, and that's, I think, by design, because I don't know, maybe Eddie was just bored and he wanted to try something a little different. Think about it. This is Van Halen 2. So like, they have only just begun to party with their careers. So yeah, and he's still, even in the early days, experimenting, trying to find new sounds, new ways to make their shit sound interesting. I think they did it. I think they did it in spades. This is also kind of bluesy enough to get Dave very interested. As we mentioned, like he's very blues inspired. He's very, anytime he can utilize his blues influence, he's gonna do it. I think it's all over this track, as well as some of this fan favorite stuff you love in Van Halen 1, which is, you know, those high pitched howlings that he could do. He can't do those anymore. He could do them. So you got that. You got a rip roaring good Eddie Van Halen solo, even if it's not like the most metal sounding thing, it's still pretty damn good. Michael Anthony, I mean, you know, he starts off the track, and we wax poetic about how much we enjoy Michael Anthony's work, because we do. And I'm sad that I didn't know that it was supposed to be a bass solo. I'm sad we didn't get the solo, but I love that he's the intro. Alex Van Halen just doing what he does. I mean, is he a little bit more front and center? Sure, but I think that's a good thing. But again, as Josh pointed out with the engineering, I think everybody sounds pretty damn clear on this album. And really listening to this track, it shows. So yes, you're not going to hear a bad word from me for, you know, spoiler alert, for most of this album, you're not going to hear a bad word out of me from it, because I love this album and I love this song, and I love that it opens up the album. That this is your opening track. I think it works. It's a little bit of an expectation subverter, if you will, just a little bit, because you would expect Connor, you brought out Van Halen 1 starts with Running with the Devil, and that's like kind of like this sort of it's not a chant song per se, it's not a fight song per se, but it's one of those that just really gets people amped. Does You're No Good get people amped? Maybe not, but it does do the job in letting you know that hey, we're back for the sequel, Van Halen 2. Here you go. And it's like let's give you guys something you might not have expected. We're covering Linda Ronstadt, so boom, in your face.
It's kind of like a steady groovy. I think Run of the Devil is a steady groovy rocker, and it's got that heart thumping tone to it. I almost heard a little bit of that bass cadence in this song too. Very Running with the Devil, very it's like a pulse, you know. They've got that sort of bass pulse, and there's little shadings of it on this one as well. But again, and I've told Corey, I've mentioned it on the show, I like to think of Van Halen 1 and 2 as just one giant album. And I think if you end Van Halen 1 and flow real nicely into Van Halen 2 with You're No Good, I really think it works. So that's my 2 cents. I'm no expert, just a fan who really loves this song, really loves Van Halen's rendition of it. So absolutely, it is what dreams are made of. That is a clean sweep across the board. We got like everybody in on it. So love when that happens. Love it. Gotta love it. And we love Van Halen. We love Van Halen 2. So we still have a few tracks, Corey, left to go on Van Halen 2. And that's exciting because we love it. Yeah,
we have the most off that album. I think we got 6 left out of 10 songs. So yeah.
Hey, one quick side note is Josh mentioned Don Landy, and when I was watching the Wildlife, the credits come on and it says music by Edward Van Halen and Don Landy, and then Don Landy is the guy doing the Right Here Right Now remasters, and I guess new ones if we ever hear anything. So that he's the man. I mean, Josh was correct. Don Landy has a lot to do with all of this, everything we're hearing.
100%. Absolutely.
Good on Don, man. Good on Don.
I want to just go to the lurker chat here. Jeff Brewer confirmed in the chat my least favorite Van Halen 2 track is still an upvote, which I'm pretty sure he meant originally. But I'm glad he clarified that, because it's the same for me. If it's my least favorite track, it's still an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. It's that fucking good. And then Ryan Powell chimed in, right, Corey, my least favorite Van Halen track is still an upvote, which legendarily he upvotes every single song and has a good reason to do so. So God bless Ryan Powell. He loves absolutely every track Van Halen ever did, and that's fan-fucking-tastic.
Hell yeah. Love it. There you have it. Another one in the books, another one down. Still got plenty of Van Halen songs to go. Although I don't know. Sometimes when I look at that wheel, I go, oof, look how big the text is. I can read the songs, which means like we are approaching we're in the end game, but not
songs?
quite. We still got 39. So that's still quite a bit. You still got at least 39 weeks of awesomeness. And oh yes, Corey is not going to let us leave until we play his favorite game, which is called Watch Mark Lose.
You won once or twice out of
I did
all
win
the
once,
many times
yeah.
we've done this,
At least once I did, yeah.
So tonight we're going to play, how many times did Van Halen play You're No Good live? I'm going to give you guys a hint. They never played it past 1979. So, according to setlist.fm, so this isn't going to, take into account Gazzari's or any of their early stuff. Just kind of when set lists were a thing, starting on the first tour. Let's start with Josh. You're becoming a regular on the show. How many times do you think Van Halen performed You're No Good?
80.
80 times for Josh. All right, Connor?
Well, I just want to say that song was so good. I think I need a cigarette. And I don't know. Come on, I had to throw in that zinger. I forgot about it earlier. If in 1984 they had over 100 shows, I think. In 79, they probably didn't have that many. So I'm gonna go 72.
72. All right, Michael.
Yeah, so I don't think that the tour in 79 was quite as big as the other ones in the future. So I'm going to say 35.
35. All right. Mark Kamier, remember, Price is Right rules. You have to get closest to the actual number without going over. Are you going to be a dick and pick like 81, or what are you thinking?
I think they played it 40 times.
40 times for Mark Kamier. Well, everybody is under, but the winner is Josh. The correct answer, it's the Wayne Gretzky of Van Halen tracks. They played it 99 times from March 25th to October 7th, 1979.
Well,
Josh, your toaster oven from Mark Kamier is on its way.
I won nothing instantly again.
Yeah, wait patiently by the mailbox while that waits to come in.
Isn't that a secret? Isn't that on the secret menu at Tim Hortons, the 99 or the Gretzky? It's like 9 shots of cream and 9 shots of sugar.
Holy hell! Who the fuck would drink that?
Yeah.
I don't. It's a Tim Hortons thing. So you Canucks up there, I guess. So
it would not surprise me. We love our secret menus. I used to work at A&W burger joint in Canada, and if you went in and ordered the animal's not on the menu, but the animal was 5 patties. The Jurassic was 10.
You think they still do that? Because there's an A&W not far from me.
Walk in and ask for an animal and see what they do.
I'm gonna see. We used to have secret menu items at various little fast food joints over here, but I don't know. I guess since pandemic, they're just like, nah, fuck it, we're not doing that anymore. But
I could probably eat the Jurassic.
Yeah, you probably could.
Oh yeah, probably could. Yeah.
I know. After a nice leg day.
Ugh.
Oh wait, Josh, doesn't Tim Hortons have they now have an ice cream out? They're doing ice cream.
Well, we'll just
Is it a coffee flavored ice cream?
This is what I heard on the podcast, so who knows if it's true.
Okay,
well, if it's Tim Hortons,
Canada's
it's bound to
better
taste like
because
shit.
they have Tim Hortons.
I don't know if that's true. If it's Tim Hortons, it's bound to taste like shit. I used to work at Tim Hortons. I know what goes on there. Don't eat the food.
Oh no, you just ruined everyone's experience, and therefore
they're going to take away my citizenship. Will America
they are. Well, you've bummed me out because I haven't made it to Canada yet, and one of the first things I was going to do was visit a Tim Hortons for a good cup of Joe. But you just like, well, you did say don't eat the food, so I'll just drink the coffee. How about that?
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend the coffee either.
God damn it, Corey! All right,
the donuts are good. You can have a donut.
But donuts with no coffee?
He said, don't eat the food, don't drink the coffee. You can have a donut. Like, what? No, I'm not doing that. I can't have a donut with no coffee. Come on, get your head out of your ass. Anyway, I'll take my chances, out of sight, out of mind. That's how it works. That's my philosophy in life, you guys. Out of sight, out of mind. So you can just avoid all trouble at all costs. So there you go. I want to thank our esteemed panelists on this action-packed show, because it was action-packed, because we've got so many. This is like this is the Avengers, if you will. Just 5 panelists talking about Van Halen, rock music to save the world. There you go. I appreciate every one of you guys, starting with you, Michael Griffith, Connor Burton, Josh, of course, coming back with us. But Connor and Michael, your first times. I hope you guys had a great time, because we had an awesome time having you with us. Yeah.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah,
Of course. Yeah. We thank you. And if you've been waiting along, we appreciate your patience. It's things get hectic sometimes, because, hey, people like listening to us, and people actually, want to be part of it. And we appreciate that. We love that. And especially we love being a part of a great podcasting network like the Deep Dive Podcasting Network. Oh, I'm sorry. The Corey Morissette Podcasting Universe. That is what it will be called in the not so distant future, because Corey is taking over the airways one podcast at a time. Hey, Corey, why don't you let the people know all the podcasts you're involved with right now?
Well, currently it's just 2 others, but there's a third on the way. With Mr. Kevin Brown from the Tom Petty Project and Seaside Pod Review. You're not going to believe the format. You're not going to believe the band, but it's coming out hopefully in the next month or so. I'm also part of Backtracks Aerosmith Revisited with Scott Haskin and John Mariano. John and I also do a little show called Backtracks Theme Music, where we're talking our favorite music from our favorite movies. Scott Haskin also does a show called Uriah Heep, the Magicians Podcast. You can also check out our good buddies Nate and John at the Deep Purple Podcast, The Simple Man at Skinnerd Reconsidered, Terry T-Bone Mathley at T-Bone's Prime Cuts on the Other Side, Rye at Sabbath Bloody Podcast, Paul, Joe, and David at In the Lap of the Pods. That's a Queen show, of course. Andy and Matt at Hawk Binge, talking all things Hawkwind. Eric and Jonathan at Maiden A to Z. Daniel and Josh at Diary of the Madman, the Ultimate Aussie Podcast. Ben and Sam at Universally Speaking, the Red Hot Chili Peppers Podcast. George and Hattie at the Judas Priest Cast. Clay and Rye at North by South Podcast. Greg and Jonathan at So Far, So Pod, So What? That's a great Megadeth show. Kevin Brown does the Tom Petty Project, and with his buddy Randy Woods, they do a little Queen show called Seaside Pod Review. Quinn at And Volume for All, Sav, Nick, Steve, and Mark at the Rock Roulette Podcast, and of course, he's also a patron, the great Chaz Mataz, and Greg at Regarding Lulu. I hear they're wrapping up Regarding Lulu very quick. Truth be told, Chaz, through Twitter, asked me if I'd be a part of the last episode. I am wavering just because it means I'll have to listen to the fucking album, and I don't know if I can do it. And of course, we should always we want to give shout outs to all of our favorite podcasts out there, including the Sean Geek and Fast Fret podcast. You're All Doomed, a Friday the 13th podcast. Of course, our good buddies at the DLR Cast and the Bogus Doda Show. Don't forget Pod of Thunder, the recognized symbol of excellence in rock and roll podcasting. Booked on Rock with Eric Senich, Dissect That Film, and Three's Company 2, a rewatch podcast.
Woo! There you go. Yeah, just like I said, one small step towards domination of the podcast airwaves. Corey is on his way. He's gonna do it.
One of these times I'm gonna get a good show. It's good. It's bound to happen. The more I do,
they're all good shows. They're all like, you guys listen to Backtracks.
Just keep trying.
They're awesome. But seriously, keep trying. You'll get there one day. But listen to Backtracks. I can confirm it's awesome. Both shows. So you can also, hey guys, if you want to check out all the things going on with our show, the merch store, everything, go to podcastwillrock.com. Send some love our way. And hey, if you want to join us on the show, like our friends Michael and Josh have for sure, join our Patreon. We have tiers that I guarantee you will be able to meet your demands. And if we don't, let us know. We'll create the tier. We are not above it. We'll keep doing it until, if the money's right, we'll talk about whatever the hell you want. He's like, you want a therapy session? I got you. You want to pay? Have me just sing a song, a very poor rendition of a Van Halen, David Lee Roth era song? I'll do it. don't think I won't do it. I will absolutely do it. But go on podcastwillrock.com, Patreon, and the podcast will rock. You can find me at Mark the Bat on Twitter and Instagram. And hey, if you happen to be in the Nashville, Tennessee area this weekend, Saturday, June 24th, come see me join the stage with local Nashville favorites, Voodoo Prophet. I get to sing vocals with them, and then stick around. You'll hear another band called Rose of Sharon, a tribute to Killswitch Engage featuring yours truly. Come on out. I'll scream right in your face and you'll love it. It's going to be a good time. Good time, good local show. Support your local artists because we're dying out there, but any support will help. Michael Griffith, first time on the show. Thank you so much. Anything you want to plug, any socials you want to promote, have at it.
Thank you for having me, Corey Mark, and at Mike S. Griffith on Twitter and Instagram. So those are my socials, and love to talk everything Van Halen.
Right on. So,
and we'll see you next month as a $20 patron, Michael and Josh. So they're going to be on every month. So we'll be looking forward to doing this again a month from now. Can't wait.
Right on. And he's no Schwarzenegger, but he's a Connor Burton. We appreciate you being on the show, my guy. Where can the people find you if they want to follow you? And you got anything to plug? Have at it.
I'm John Connor. No. So yeah, I mean, I do want to plug my podcast, which hasn't been active for a while, about a year, but we do have 34 episodes, and we do have some amazing body transformation programs they could buy PDF style. So please reach out to our podcast at bluecollarfitnesspodcast.com. And we have the summer body program, which is a 3 times a week template for 8 weeks. And then we have the hypertrophy program and that at-home workout program. And then just go and find me on Instagram. I'm on there at ConnorBurtonTraining.com. So Connor Burton and the word training. And yeah, guys, thank you so much. The show was amazing.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you. Thank you for being on, and check those out, you guys. Josh, always a pleasure. We'll see you again. This is not goodbye. This is just see you later. Anything you want to promote? Anything you want to plug?
No, just a fantastic show, gentlemen. Great to have some other guests on, and I like this panel, the way it's set up, and we're just talking about our heroes. I mean, what more fun is that?
Absolutely. There's nothing more fun in the world than getting together with like-minded folks and talking about good shit that you love, including Van Halen. Yes, Corey.
I forgot something. Tom Armbruster, our good friend, reached out today and reminded me that he put out a poll along with our poll last week. And we wanted to talk about the results here. So we'll ask the panelists what they think. His poll is, the question is not, does love exist, but when she leaves, where she goes. Is that the best Dave lyric ever or best Dave lyric ever? What's your vote? I think I voted best Dave lyric ever. Josh, what do you think?
The former.
Okay. Connor?
The best Dave lyric ever.
Yeah, either is it the best Dave lyric or it's the best Dave lyric ever. So you're voting the second one, the latter?
Oh no, it's actually, I would have to think about that. So phrase it in a question. So the former.
Okay. Mike?
It's a good lyric, but the former, I can think of 5 off the top of my head that would surpass it. So
yeah. Mark, what do you think?
I didn't vote because I was looking for the third option, which was nah.
Well,
Dave's
and the majority,
many a great lyric, but I don't think that's one of them.
Only one beats that. From Romeo Delight, I'm bringing whiskey to the party tonight, and I'm looking for somebody to squeeze.
that is
I would have voted. I would have voted up for that one just because.
Yeah.
So
I'm totally joking, by the way. It's kind of like nonsense, but it sounds kind of cool.
you just described David Lee Roth lyrics. Like, it's kind of nonsense,
Exactly.
kind of cool. So that's there you go. And I'm sure the Rothians will come for me for that one. I'm sure, but it's fine. I can take it.
So that's that Dave quote where he goes, Sam, I think I'm messing it up, but he goes, Sam, is the part. Wait, sorry. I blew it. Never
Sam,
mind.
no, Sammy throws the party. I am the party.
That's it. Thank you, Connor, for this.
Right.
Aha, yeah, there you go. Connor's got you.
I got
There you go. Yeah. Well, he may be the party, and he certainly was for tonight. So, but instead, we are the party. This whole panel of not experts, just simple fans like Corey and myself that are enjoying a band and enjoying talking about it. That's what we're all about here on the show. Please tune into the rest of the show. Share with your friends. Let them know what's going on. Because look, as far as I'm concerned, we're I'm not going to say we're the only Van Halen podcast, but we're a Van Halen podcast that people like to mention, like to talk about, and not for nothing. Sometimes we get people who actually are experts on the band join us and say, hey, you guys are doing a good job. It's like, yay, that's validating. So I'm going to run with it. We're a validated Van Halen podcast, maybe not official, but validated. And that's good enough for me. I think it's good enough for Corey. So on behalf of all of us on the panel, on behalf of everybody else out there, we are, and the podcast will rock, and we will rock you later.